doing well, and yourself?
I am awesome. I have the beautiful, talented musician, singer, songwriter, program specialist. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself. Mommy, welcome to the um, program. You are on the spotlight. So tell us about yourself in your own words, how you want people to know about you and perceive you. Who are you and what do you do?
Right. Thank you so much, Queen K, for having me.
You're welcome.
It's such a pleasure. I know we tried to do this a while back, and we never got to do it. But this is good testament to the fact that women persevere, and
Yes.
when they put their mind to doing something, they really get it done. So I'm really excited for this opportunity to share a little bit about myself and to connect with other people.
Thank you.
So basically, my name is Maame Afon. Mami means mother. I am originally from Ghana, so I was named after my grandmother, and more and more, I spent quite a bit of time with my grandmother, and more, I realized that I have a lot of things about me that my grandmother would always do. So that's really awesome. Um, People always ask me, when you go for meetings or you go for networking events, and the first question people always say is, what do you do? And I always say, instead of asking people what you do, you have to ask people who they are being. Because at the end of the day, we are human beings and not human doing,
Doings.
you know? And so who I am being is something that is a process for me. I have gone through, a process where I have come to a point where people ask me who I am being. I tell them I am a whole woman. And being a whole woman means that I bring all of who I am to everything I do. It means I do the things I love. I do the things I am passionate about. I do the things that I believe is they are my passion, is my calling. That's the reason why I am here on earth. It's my purpose. And most importantly, I do the things that I believe my experiences have equipped me to be. And one of those things, and so I bring all of who I am. I bring my faith, I bring my trials, I bring my triumph, I bring my talent, I bring my intellectual curiosity to everything, so that when I show up, you don't see me as this person who lives in silos and compartments, but you see the fullness of who I am and who I've been created to be in this world. And the reason why I use the word the fullness of who I've been created is because at the heart of everything I do, my faith is very, very integral and important to me. I strongly believe that it's in God that I live and move and have my being. I find all of who I am in those spaces. And then the other thing I would say in terms of who I am is that I strongly believe in the power of voice. I believe that saying that your voice is your power. If you don't know or embrace your voice, it's very hard to tell people who you are and who you are being. Your voice becomes a channel, it becomes a tool to communicate who you are being and how you want to be seen in the spaces that you have the opportunity to access and to enter.
Awesome.
And so that's, just in general who I am. I'm a mom also. I have 3 kids. I have twin girls, and then my son. And I've been married, it'll be what, 14 years, 15 years this year?
That's nice.
In July. What else? I do outside of my work as a musician and recording artist. I'm very, very passionate about Africa. Those are words I love. There are certain words that I love. Africa, resilience. I love transformative mentorship, pouring into other people and so forth. And then I love really developing the leadership capacity of other people, helping people to find their potential and unleash it. So there are so many aspects to who I am, and that's why I broadly say that I am a whole woman. But if I were to put this in 3 big words, I would say I am proudly African, unapologetically feminist, and boldly a Christ lover. So those are the things about me that I would say.
That's awesome. That is a package. I just love it. I'm like, I'm sitting here like, man, I'm just getting goosebumps at just the joy and the passion with which you speak about your being and what you are doing and how you are impacting other people's lives. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, what motivates you? What inspires you to do what you do or be who you are being daily?
So there are a few guiding principles that I live by. I believe that to whom much is given, much is expected, and much is required. I also believe that with privilege, with access, with opportunities, come responsibility.
Okay.
Oftentimes we find ourselves in spaces and we don't know why we are in those spaces, but every space that you find yourself in, every opportunity that comes your way, every access point that you encounter, those are not necessarily for you to become this great person, but they are opportunities and they are channels for you to pour into other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I say that with privilege comes responsibility, I've been blessed, to enjoy certain things. I left Ghana when I was much younger after high school, and I came to college here, and that experience has opened my mind to so many things. Whilst I was in college, I lived in France, because I majored in French and Spanish.
Yeah.
So I lived in France. I lived in Guatemala. I've gotten to travel into different spaces. In terms of my work, I've been able to meet really influential people. And when I say influential people, really influential people. But I don't think that it's because, okay, you are all that. I know I'm all that. That's true. That's a fact. I know that. But I also believe that these opportunities and access and privileges that I get are to be used in service of other people. And so those are the things that motivate me. Anytime I get an opportunity, anytime I have access into a space, anytime I am blessed with some form of encounter that is transformative, I believe that those experiences are equipping me to live on purpose. And for me, my purpose basically is to inspire others and allow them to enjoy a fulfilling journey as leaders and as whole women and whole leaders.
Wow, that's amazing. Kudos to you for what you do and all you do. So, what does the next 1 year look like for you? What is in your vision and mission in the next 1 year?
So, my vision and my mission in the next 1 year. There are a few things that I feel like God has placed on my heart that I need to birth. One is with my music. There are so many songs that my husband and we have in the pipeline, and that need to come out because I have seen and firsthand and heard from so many people how the ministry that we have with our music has been so encouraging. Basically, for me, my music is to I envision a space where we do wholesome music to uplift and encourage. That's it. Wholesome music. And so right now, one of the things you are doing is I'm in the studio recording, working on a new project. I have about 3 or 4 that I've done already, but it's time to bring out a few more. As you know, doing these things require resources, and so some of the things that we are doing is to really mobilize the funds, to really mobilize resources, put our own seed into what we believe is a calling, because this gift, it's a gift. And when you are given gifts, you have to be a good steward of that gift, and how you invest in that gift to grow it, to broaden it, and to extend it to other people is very, very important.
Absolutely.
And so one thing we are doing is really working to mobilize the resources, and we are in the studio right now working on that. So that's one big area for music. The second one, it's more to do with, just myself also. I recently was talking to a group of women doing a women's retreat, and I was just sharing about why it's important for us to have self-care. A lot of times, especially as African women, we put everybody, I guess women in general, but I'm speaking from the perspective of an African woman. So
Absolutely.
we put everybody, ahead of us. We feel like we need permission to enjoy our lives, to be who we are. And sometimes those things are limiting, and we don't put our self-care, ahead of all those other things. And what happens is we end up killing our dreams. We end up becoming frustrated.
Yes.
And so I'm really putting myself also in front, and being able to say no when I have to say no, and not asking for permission to take care of myself. And some of the things I'm doing now is I love to play tennis. So I'm working it in my schedule to be able to play my tennis. I'm part of a boot camp. So that gets me going in the morning at 6 a.m. I'm there, I'm getting my boot camp going, and then I come back, and when I need to just lay back and just not do work, I'm learning. It's a process because I'm very driven and I like to get things done all the time. But sometimes if it means just sitting down and watching some Nollywood or some chick flick,
Something
all
to get
important,
something
listen
to
to
get you
music,
going.
have my headset on, singing out loud around the house. I do all of those things. So self-care, it's important. And obviously my job, my work, mentoring young women and young leaders, doing philanthropy, creating curriculum that builds the leadership of the continent. I am really passionate about Africa, and I want to see our continent be on the platform where it needs to be positioned on the global stage. And so however I can be part of the solution, I'm doing that. And I look at the areas of my studies and my strength, and I use those things as an entry point to make a difference also. So those are some of the things I'm doing, in the next, between now and the next 1 year.
Well, I can't wait to see how those unravel or unroll, and to participate in one form or the other to support your causes. So somebody might be watching this and they're like, man, this woman inspires me. I want to be a leader. I want to kind of follow in a similar path, but they don't know what to do. They don't know how to start. Maybe you can speak to that person's spirit and engage them in igniting the fire that is already within them, but they need a switch to spark it. Just use a moment to just speak to that person or those people.
So for me, I have been singing for over 20 years. And I believe that there are choices that we have to make. At some point in your life, you have to make certain choices. You have to put a stake in the ground and make a decision. One of my favorite quotes is from Lema Bowie. She's from Liberia. In 2011, she won the Nobel Peace Prize. We are in our organization, we are so blessed to have her as one of our big sisters and mentors. And so I've had the chance to meet her a few times. But the quote she has says, "You cannot have footprints when you are always walking on your tippy toes. You cannot have footprints or leave footprints in the sand when you are always on your tiptoes." So just think of the imagery that comes with that, the visuals that come with that. That if you're on the sea, you are by the shore, you're walking. If you're on your tiptoes, you may have one or two things, but if the water comes, it will quickly fade away. Yes. But when you are walking, flat, and you take a stand, you're able to leave footprints. And that comes with making a choice. That comes with making a decision. And sometimes making a decision doesn't mean it has to be a huge decision. It means you start small. You start from where you have certain things in your hand. One of my favorite things from the scriptures is from Moses. When Moses had an encounter with God, and God was asking him, "Moses, what do you have in your hand?" They had all this conversation, and Moses went back and forth, but I stammer, my brother is better, he can do this. And then God asked Moses, what is it that you have in your hand? And Moses didn't even know what he had in his, like, it's just a stick. I just used that to be a shepherd. And God said, throw that on the ground. And with that stick, Moses delivered the Israelites out of Egypt. Yes. That same stick provided water in the wilderness. That same stick was what he used to part the Red Sea, yes, for the Israelites to walk through. Amazing. So the first thing I would say is, ask yourself, what is it that I have been endowed with? What are the natural resources that I carry within me? Yes. That because I haven't had the time to be still and to really think about what I hold, I am not able to use it. And then start with that. Start with those things. Start with the things that you know are your innate gifts that comes with who you are as an individual. Amazing. And you would realize quickly that very soon it would have ripples, very little drops of things that you start noticing as you take that step. Absolutely. As you take a stand. Absolutely. As you make a choice, as you make a decision, those things will start having ripple effects. And you realize it would start oozing into all the other areas that you didn't even know that you had them as things inside you. So start small. Do an audit of what you carry in terms of your natural resources, your gifts, your talents. If maybe people tell you you like talking too much, ask yourself, why is it that God created me to be such a talker? Exactly. Like I told you, voice is very important to me. I use my voice to talk a lot. I do a lot of public speaking. I use my voice for my singing. So I realize people would say, oh yeah, you talk too much. I'm like, well, I'm using it for the things that God knows why he gave me that, awesome. Awesome. So you have to go through that process. And lastly, one thing I would say is sometimes when you go through difficult times, when you go through hard moments, those things, God uses those things as opportunities to birth, new things in your life. So in 2008, I lost my little sister in a fire accident. So sorry. She was 28. Wow. And then 2010, I lost my husband lost his immediate little sister. She was 33. She lived with multiple sclerosis for about 11 years. Wow. And around those, and they were all so young when they passed away. Yeah. And we're just sitting there asking ourselves, what's going on? What do we do? And we asked ourselves, what did my sister do? I mean, she left a huge legacy. At 28, wow. She had done so much. And my sister-in-law, even when she was wheelchair bound, she touched so many lives. So that was when we decided, what are we doing with our music? My husband is a songwriter. He's now built himself up to be to direct and to produce. He plays the bass. That's his main instrument, but he can dabble in all other things. That's and amazing. So that activity, that shift, that encounter, that experience was a shift, was a catalyst for me really going into my music and saying, what are you sitting down waiting for? Absolutely. When do you think is the right time? You never know. So just step out. We did that. And then in 2013, my mom passed away just out of the blue. Oh. And then last year, my dad passed away. But throughout all these things, one of the things that I've noticed is, like I said, in the beginning when I was talking, I said the experiences that you have are given to you for a purpose. Even if it's hard, it is for a purpose. And through my music, when I share my story with tragedy, with pain, with all those things, when I'm singing and I see how God has sustained me to be where I am, it comes alive and it touches people and it encourages people. I've been in spaces where somebody was going to commit suicide. And because I shared a story and I sang from a place of passion and truth, the person made a different decision, made a different choice. So for me, these things are so important. And I always say, when the hard times come, don't run away. Don't run away from it. I'm not saying you should be praying that, God, let all the negative things go. No. But when they come, the experiences that are going to equip you for where God is getting ready to launch you into. And sometimes these hard times, it's an announcement to you that God is getting ready to launch you into a different dimension of
Awesome.
your purpose and your calling. So that's what I would say.
I am speechless, and I'm inspired, and I can only imagine what God has in store for you. So I'll be definitely watching and following and supporting in any way I can your movement. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and bless us with your presence and your gift.
Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
And thank you, Queen K, for what you're doing, for amplifying the voices of women, and creating a safe space for women to share their stories and to connect, because that's the only way we can really build that solidarity, to hold each other's hand and to walk through life. We always say, yeah, let's do life together, but how do you do it? What you are doing, it's a practical way to do life together. So thank you for creating that space, and God bless.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm touched. Thank you.
All right.
Wow, sister, you just killed it.